Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to get into more dabblings of my work with the adaptive AI. And again, I've been taking some old anime classics and just doing some mixes between them and see what can happen. Again, I'm not really good at this AI thing, and but with a large number of generation of images and things that some pretty good results have come out. So again, this is another episode I'm going to cover on my journey through this thing, and see what kind of old animes that we can kind of revive and do a little twist on to see what will happen and see what some of the results are. Okay. Before I begin, I want to remind everyone to go down below, click like and click subscribe. If you have any comments or even ideas of what I might want to try, please put it down below. It does help the YouTube algorithm make more recommendations and that kind of stuff for the videos. If you want to support me financially, the links are below for the page, PAL, and the Patreon. Okay. All the special content that is not available or not allowed on YouTube, I will be putting on the Patreon. Okay, and again, when I'm playing with the sliders and the different configurations, obviously the AI can generate some images that are not TOS for YouTube. So all those things, if you want to see them, I'll have to put onto the Patreon. So again, that's a good thing that you want to get into if you want to see those images over there. All right. So without further delay, let's get into the pictures and let's get into see what happened when I tried to do these sort of mixtures and combinations. All right. Okay, so without further delay, let's get into some of these things that I've tried to do and tried to mix with the anime. So, without further delay, let's begin.
So for my next project that I wanted to do is I wanted to take Asuka from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Now I could have went with Rei or or Asuka, but I noticed that there's a better model sort of database for Asuka. So I decided, okay, well, let's do her first. And so I decided to use that character as the primary base. But then I thought, okay, well, what style do I want to make it? So I thought, okay, you know, I've been on basically, doing the Satoshi Urushihara mixture. So I decided, okay, well, we'll use that, character model and the database that they have there, and let's fuse the two together. So basically, using the art style that is used, in things like Plastic Little, War Song, and things like that. Predominant features are going to be on the chest, obviously, and the curves. All right, he tends to do a lot of that. He tends to have lots of big outbursts of flowing hair. So if you look at characters like Tiaras, Luna, you know, for example, Plastic Little, right? These are all characteristically things that would probably work really, really well for Asuka because of how her hair normally does. So I was thinking this would be a good way to cast this and see if we can get some models here. And as you can see, the pictures are really nicely done. The models are also, there's enough material out there, and then there's enough things characteristic with the armor and that kind of stuff, which really works out well because characters like Lambda or Mariel in Langrisser pretty much has that same kind of idea. It's not exactly like a plug suit, but it is kind of a skin tight suit that she wears, and because of that, it maps really easily onto Asuka. So it's just a matter of getting the color of the armor correct and that kind of stuff on that. So basically, characteristics from characters like Lambda, can be done onto Asuka. Of course, things like for example, Lambda would have a cape, and Asuka doesn't. But every all the similar types of things on her suit are very similar, right? This kind of a very skin tight sort of thing. There's like sort of circle like instrumentation or like folds in the inner suit, which is sort of the same way how a plug suit works as well. So I find the model and the database work well together. And so just to sort of explain that, the way the AI would work is that, okay, obviously you have but I guess the best way to kind of explain it would be you have a whole stack of pictures of Asuka, right? So you have pictures, screen captures from the anime. You might have some cells. You might have some fan drawing. You might have some cosplayers, photographs of some cosplayers, and that kind of stuff. So all these different pictures of Asuka, and with these pictures you would have descriptions about what the pictures are. So it'd be like a cosplayer wearing a Asuka outfit in a standing pose, basically, sort of like red hair, or whatever color, particular, rosy hair or whatever. So it basically has descriptions about what is shown in the picture. Okay, and that's on one pile for Neon Genesis Evangelion, right? Then we have another pile which has the maybe like one of the art books from Satoshi Urushihara, all kind of scanned in, all the different types of posters. Might be some plastic little pictures, might be some Langrisser pictures, could be pictures from War Song, from the manual type of thing. So all these sort of things, would be used as reference material. Again, same thing. Each of the pictures would have descriptions about what they are. So this is a picture of Luna, and she is flying on a dragon, and things like that. Would give an indication of what she is doing, what she's wearing. The descriptions about how her hair and different things are set. And then what you do is you say, okay, AI, I want a picture of Asuka, okay, and these are the different sort of characteristics I like. So I like obviously in a fighting pose, in a standing pose, sitting pose, lying down pose. I want her to look at the camera. I want the background to be a city on fire with explosions going all over the place, or maybe just sitting inside a cockpit. Just be descriptive of what you want, right? And then basically, the AI will then look at the words that you use and try to find words in these stacks of pictures and things like that, or go through its common knowledge to see what is a cityscape, for example. It'll go through its database of what it thinks and knows what a cityscape looks like. So it will basically try to render a picture of Asuka using the stack of pictures of Asuka that you have, and put it in the proper background, whether it's a cityscape, whether or not it's on fire, whether or not there's explosions and that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff it'll determine based on what its database of what it knows what those things are. Okay, now the fun begins when you get to assign percentages of how it will tend to look. So, for example, in a lot of these early pictures here, I've really set the slider heavily towards Asuka and not so heavy towards Satoshi Urushihara. And what this does is it basically takes more consideration to the stack of pictures of Asuka and the Neon Genesis Evangelion stack, okay, more so than looking at pictures from the Satoshi Urushihara stack, right? And what this does is it makes it lean more one way, makes more characteristics of Asuka over the other characteristics of Satoshi Urushihara, okay? Another way, sort of a clearer way of explaining this, I did in the previous video, but I'll kind of quickly go over it. But usually the analogy I like to use is mixing paint, okay? So if you have a can of blue and you have a can of yellow and you mix it together, you're going to make green, okay? But what kind of green? Right? So obviously, if you've got a can that's, let's say 80% full of blue, and you got another can which is only 20% full and it's full of yellow, okay, and you pour it together to make 100% full can, it will make a type of green, which is a 80-20 mixture of green. So it would be probably more darker blue, so probably more like a turquoise, maybe like an aqua blue or something like that. And that's sort of the effect that I want to get. So basically, it'll take characteristics that you'd normally get in a Satoshi Urushihara type of picture. So maybe slightly larger chest, more poofier hair, more larger anime-like eyes. Obviously it'll take lots of examples from, a Mariel / Lambda's armor. So maybe the placement of the brown circles with the dots. It'll take those type of references and import them into the picture. Okay, and that's what these sort of mixtures are. So here I'm giving you an example of all some of the different results I've got. Again, I can't show you everything because obviously YouTube regulations. When it gets a little too much over on the Satoshi Urushihara side, because as you know, he does pay attention to very fine details around certain parts of the female anatomy, and of course YouTube doesn't like that. So because of that, I'll have to reserve those pictures for the Patreon. So again, if I'll make an episode, do like sort of the flip side version, the H version of this episode, I'll put that onto the Patreon. All right. But this gives you a good idea of what I managed to do and managed to render. And again, I went through hundreds of pictures, to do this, and you just can imagine, like, the amount of things that just nope, that didn't work. No, or oh geez, I didn't expect that result. Okay, I forgot to type in that particular thing, right? So then I have to basically throw all those pictures away, and add the comment, oh yeah, right, forgot, her armor is red. Okay, for example, or sometimes I may have forgotten, like, the color of her hair, and end up drawing her as as blonde instead of red, as redhead, right? So things like that I might have done, and because of that, the picture that rendered is not usable. Okay. Alright, and the next one I wanted to do is the character Deedlit from the Record of Lodoss Wars. And so I thought, okay, alright, there's also lots of various different pictures of elves and whatnot, and lots of pictures of Deedlit because she's one of the main characters of the show. So I decided, okay, well, let's take that, and we'll use the same stack of Satoshi Urushihara, and this also worked out very, very well. Now, no, obviously Deedlit isn't one that wears, like a plug suit like Asuka does, but the way that, the armor and that kind of stuff fits on her, and the variations of how the armor can fit on her, by flipping the scale, or the percentage larger towards the Satoshi Urushihara side, you can see that more dominant features are on Deedlit here. Obviously, instead of like armor plating and that kind of stuff on to cover her chest, she's got more like the skin suit that Lambda wears, and you can tell by the way that the lines on the thing, which does the uplift, also is translated over, right? So she has more characteristics in terms of her armor skin and whatnot, similar to more like Lambda. The other thing that's also a pretty big giveaway is, other than how the lines and stuff work around her chest, but if you look at her arms and her legs, right, all those circle like devices and that stuff that are on her plug suit is transferred onto Deedlit as well. Even though normally Deedlit would wear a short skirt and that kind of stuff, they decided when you pull the scale over towards the Satoshi Urushihara side, those features, those things which are part of her suit, get transferred onto Deedlit, and so that's why you see a lot of the images have the circles on her arms and that kind of stuff, as well as and whatnot on there. again, because we're using Ushihara as the model. You can tell that the you can so the proportions and that kind of stuff on the chest are also been modified and made that way because that's what he does, right? So I like how also the image also makes some applications to the way the hair is done. Which makes it an all image. But yes, it is quite a lot of fun playing around with this. But again, you have to do a lot of pictures and a lot of iterations because because there's a lot of hit and miss. A lot of because the AI is not that smart per se the word, in the sense that it really doesn't know what you want. Okay, because it can't read your mind, right? So you try your best to try to script and give it the positive and the negative prompts to draw the picture that you want. And as I said, sometimes you miss out a couple words, or this particular detail, like whether or not she's standing, sitting, that kind of stuff. Maybe you forgot to write that in. Maybe you forgot to write what kind of background you want or something like that. And yeah, it just kind of goes on its merry way and kind of just renders what it thinks and feels like it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's not looking very good, or oh, that's the wrong way, or something like that. Then that's again, you have to recorrect the prompt, recorrect the things so it doesn't do it that way again. And sometimes it's actually kind of difficult, right? Trying to stay ahead of the machine sometimes, as it were. But yeah, this is a good amount of stuff. Again, there's going to be images that here I obviously can't put here. So again, I'll have to put those on the Patreon. So again, do look for it there, and you can have a list on that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'll get that updated for, a little later on, probably next week, because I got stuff coming up with the new book and all that kind of stuff. That's what the images you see in the background right now. Getting ready for the release of book 4 in my novel set. And these are some of the images that I have to go through and see if I can use, all right? So again, stay tuned. The next volume's gonna hit, and then when I do, I'll post the free link below. So that, again, anyone who wants to have a look at that, absolutely for free, or if you already started to have a bunch of the issues already, and you want to add it to your collection, again, I'll post the free link probably next week when that's all ready. Okay.
All right, so hopefully find that interesting, and hopefully, there's some images and that kind of stuff that you particularly like. Again, I've posted some of the normal ones available on my various social media, so you can actually have a look at them and have a better view of those things for yourself. Again, if you want to get into the special stuff, that's on the the Patreon / PayPal, right? I will be getting into more episodes where I've done some other characters and that kind of stuff. And again, if you have any suggestions, just write it below. Maybe I'll experiment and see what I can come up with. All right. I really don't 100% know what I'm doing with this stuff, but hey, maybe something kind of cool will come up with it. All right. So I hope you join me again and seeing what other new things we can create in the next episode. All right. So until then, I will see you again.